of a fellow cultivator, as his hunting sparring martial instructor, Song, forced him to stretch both his muscles and his spiritual senses. He stretched now, using the rhythm of his breath as a guide, just as if he was cultivating. Each exhale contracted his surge, sweeping the area again. Each inhale expanded the radius, until at last he sensed her. He pushed his spiritual senses out further just to be sure, his exhale focusing on the girl he'd been traveling with for the last 3 weeks, yet hardly knew anything about. If he'd been captured by bandits and interrogated right now, he'd be incapable of revealing anything but her physical description, her air affinity, and the one intimate detail she'd reluctantly shared with him. She couldn't read. She was smart and quick and brash and brave, but anyone could say that about Song. She was his teacher, and he was hers. Yet he knew almost nothing about her. Song was so far away, yet he knew the instant his spiritual senses brushed against her that she was watching him. His touch had the same effect as a lightning strike. Song launched after him, moving almost as fast as his spiritual senses. As his focus sucked back into his body, she was using her walks-on-wind agility technique, which non-cultivators confused with flight, and Calin had just enough time to pivot to face her before she launched out of the ferns. He flowed chi from his core into his triple heater meridian, enhancing his reaction time, and channeled chi into his shield. Calin was just about to shield bash her over his head. She preferred leaping, aerial attacks. When she dropped, sliding through his wide stance legs and popping up behind him. Even with chi coursing through his meridian, he still wasn't fast enough. When he whirled around, blocking the inevitable attack of her bow with a spear, she jumped, landing on the spear haft as lightly as a dragonfly. Her agility and wildness never ceased to stun him. Black hair, the color of crow's wings, braids adorned with bone beads and feathers, a smear of red paint across her piercing blue eyes, the forest green cloak edged in beast pelt, the wiry arms and strong hands that gripped her monster of a recurve bow. Song seized his collar and hurled him into the forest. "Run!" she barked. He'd been reprimanded for his slow reaction time by her before, and running half a dozen li as recompense for his martial ineptitude was nothing new. But something in her voice was different. "You fat melon head!" she shouted as she ran, using her bow to smack down the hardier ferns. "Are you that stupid, or are you trying to get yourself eaten?" "I was stretching my spiritual senses just as you instructed," he protested. "And leaving yourself open for something to see you back." Without a break in her stride, she leaned over and smacked him upside the head. "Look again!" Calin rarely used his spiritual senses while on the run, let alone a walk, and fumbled to look elsewhere while he was sprinting between tree trunks. Something was chasing them, something big. Calin snapped back to himself as Song shoved him, narrowly missing a low branch that would have clotheslined him across the throat. He recovered his footing and fought to catch up. "I thought there weren't any beasts in this forest," he panted. "That's why we chose it to practice in." "Well, maybe it came for a visit. Maybe it smelled your dumb egg ass and thought it could get an easy meal." "I'm not so easy to kill anymore." "Really? Tell that to him." Song strafed away, gliding on air as the beast came thundering through the ferns. They hadn't heard its approach before now, and judging by its agile footwork, no one would hear it until it was right on top of them. Its antlers fanned out like the tines of a pitchfork on either side of its head, and 4 long fangs, 2 extending from its snout and 2 protruding from its jaw, snapped at the air behind him. Its legs were long and lean like Song's, propelling it forward with the same sure-footedness. "It's like a deer with teeth," Calin cried. "It's a carnivorous toothed deer," Song said from somewhere above him. "Highly territorial and likes to eat meat when it can find it, which is why there are no ground-dwelling beasts in this forest. Except him and his hinds, of course." Calin dodged the angry swipe.